Hi, this is Steve. Welcome back to my channel, Scale Model Kit Review. I'm back with another installment of Build the GT40 by DeAgostini Collectibles. I am working on pack number 15, stages 68 through 72. This time, I go ahead and assemble the last wheel and tire and work on the rear suspension a little bit. So, if you haven't done so already, head over to DeAgostini Collectibles, check out this car, and subscribe to it today. It's a beautiful race car, and I think it would look fantastic on your shelf or in your office. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome back to another installment of Build Your Own Ford GT by DeAgostini Collectibles. I am working on pack number 15. 5 more stages were here, 68 through 72. Let's go ahead and look at the magazine for 68 here first. Magazines are wonderful. There are semi-gloss pages, lots of wonderful articles here, 12 to 13 pages in all. Color and black and white photography here. And articles are fantastic, all of them related to racing and or the Ford Motor Company. But like I was saying, there's lots to read here and learn about the history of racing with the Ford Motor Company. And then wonderful, easy to follow instructions here. And there you have it. So let's look at the parts that I also received with this pack. Stage 68, we start on our last wheel, which is the back wheel. Stage 69 is the back tire. Stage 70 is the rear suspension, one side of it. Stage 71 looks like it's the gearbox suspension support brace. And stage 72, more rear suspension parts. Let's get started on stage 68. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 68. Stage 68, work on the left rear wheel, and these are the parts I received. Very simple here, we just put the two parts together. And that's what it will look like. We'll put the other part of the rim onto that. We've got to use a small rubber mallet to help that along. That works best for that. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's parts for stage 68. Let me take these out and we'll get a closer look. Here's parts for 68. All made of metal. Very nice orange paint job on that. Very nice. And one half of the rim. Very nice there too. Okay, we'll go ahead and bring over the rim from stage 67 and turn that over, and we're going to put this right down on top of it. It only goes down one way, just like that, to where you can see the rim just like that. And then we'll go ahead and bring over our part we received with this stage, the other half of the rim, and we'll put that together. And like I was saying, it's good to use a mallet for this. And I have a mallet there. You can get this from my Amazon store. That way it doesn't do any damage to the rim at all. And there we go. Definitely needs some coaxing, but it is on all the way. So that's all we do with stage 68. Let's head over and do stage 69. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 69. And this is where I get the left rear tire. And it's a big, bad beast indeed. So we need to get our rim. We need to take the tire and heat it up in some boiling water for a couple minutes. Put it on the correct direction, and that's all we do with this stage. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Great article here in the magazine, talks about competition versus road tires. So here's the article about front and rear racing tires. And road tires themselves. There's the article on that. And they proceed here with telling you what's going on with the tires, the composites and stuff, the regulations. Lots of great information there. And here's the tire for '69. Let's get a closer look. And here's a closer look at that tire, and you can see it's a fat tire, very wide. Not very pliable, that's why we need to heat it up. It's going to be easier to get the rim on it. But wonderful. Let me bring over the rim. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take this downstairs and put it in some boiling water, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. And I like to flip it over and insert the tire from this side, making sure that the face of the rim gets turned in the right direction. There we go. Very easy to do. And there you go. I heated up in boiling water for about 3 minutes, and it looks great. So that's all I do with stage 69. Let's head over and do stage 70. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 70. And it looks like we're going to work on the left rear brake. Here's all the parts involved with that. Put together brake caliper and disc, the drive shaft, put a pin in that, mount that on the hub, onto the caliper itself and brake disc, put that down, and that's what that will look like. Mount that to the wheel, put a screw into that. Let me get the parts and I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 70. Let's get a closer look. FD08, FD02. We have the drive shaft itself, which is made of plastic, along with the metal pin, the brake caliper, the brake discs, the hub, which is made of metal. That's very nice there. The finish on it is superb. And part of the drive shaft once again, which is made of metal also. That's very nice there, very impressive. Put the disc halves together here and did a sandwich together. There's alignment pins that allow that to happen. Just like that. That's how that looks there. Looks great. Now we'll put together the drive shaft. Here's the drive shaft, and it just needs to go on like that, and it's like a regular U-joint. Push it through, just like that, and locked in. That's how that looks there. Looks good. Bring over the hub and the disc. This simply just goes down on the hub like that. And then turn this over. We're going to put the brake caliper on this, and it has an alignment pin and a screw pin. So that's just going to go on like that. FT08 screw goes into this. And I put a little oil on it. Nice and tight. And the disc still turns. Very nice. Bring over the wheel. And we have the wheel here. We look for the keyway, the tab there. Line this up with that tab so it goes down. There we go, just like that. Bring over our axle, and that's going to insert into this. You can see it has octagon flats. And we're going to put our screw into that. FD02 screw goes into this, and I lubricated it. Great. And it will turn. The hub will stand still, and then when you turn the wheel, the axle turns. There you go. And we put our knockoff in there. Put our knockoff in, it's magnetized, and there we go. That completes stage 70. Let's go ahead and do stage 71. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 71. Now we'll assemble the transmission subframe. Here's the parts I received, plus a couple of screws there. Bring over the transmission, or the gearbox as they call it. Install the subframe up to it, put some screws into it. That's what that looks like there. And it looks like a screw just on top goes in there. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's the parts for 71. I'll take this out and we'll get a closer look. FP01 screw, and here's the subframe made of metal. Very detailed there. Very cool. All our suspension components will mount to this. Looks great. Alright, here's our gearbox, and we need to mount that on top of it. And they tell you to turn it sideways, put it through, and then this will line it up to where it needs to go. There's a couple of pins that this goes down in through, right there on top. And they go down on those pins. And we're going to put one screw in the top here. FP01 screw goes into this. Nice and tight, and that's how that looks there. Give you an overall view of the subframe, what it looks like. Transmission frame. Very cool. That's all I do with stage 71. Let's do the final stage for pack 15, stage 72. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 72, which is the final stage for pack 15. Work on the right rear suspension. There's a list of all the parts, and here's the parts we received. We're going to start installing parts onto that transmission subframe. Take it slowly here. Very authentic. Everything mounted to that, and looking good. Just on the right side is what we're working. Very cool. Then we put our tire on it, it looks like, an axle. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 72. Let's get a closer look. And here are those parts. Screws we received are FD02, FP07, FD08, and FD09. The parts we received for this suspension, 2 are plastic. This arm here is plastic. This bracket here is plastic. Metal for this part here, for this arm, and of course metal for this arm here. Very nice. Alright, go ahead and bring over the transmission and the subframe for the transmission. We're going to install this first arm, and we want to make sure that this part where your lock nut is closest to the subframe, and these grooves are facing away from the transmission, just like that. Then we'll bring over the other arm, the plastic one, and we want to have the thicker one that I'm holding near my thumb inserted just like this up against that and up against that. Okay, that's how that looks. FD08 goes into the top one here, and I lubricated it. That's good there. FD09 goes in this one here, and I lubricated it. Swing this arm out of the way here. Next I'll bring over this A arm here, and it's going to insert onto this bracket here, and it's simply just going to go down just like that. Next I'm going to bring over this bracket, and we want to make sure it lines up with the notch on top, so it's going to get inserted into that notch. You can see right there. And before I go any further, I need to put an FD02 in right here to lock this A arm in place. And that's good there. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and install the wheel and tire onto this suspension. You want to bring over your wheel and tire, the one that has, as you're looking at it right now, you have your brake caliper facing this direction, and this double bracket down on the bottom, the cooling line will be towards the back, and we're going to insert this right there. Okay, so make sure you have a hold of the back. We've put an FP07 screw into this, going into plastic so no oil is required. And there we go. That's what that looks like. So you want to be careful with that because it is plastic at this point. And eventually it's going to mount like that. But they're not having us do this yet. But that's what that looks like. And that's all I do for stage 72. Pretty much going to leave that like it is until our next pack arrives. But I think it looks great. And that completes pack 15. Had a blast building this. Really is coming along very fast. If you think you'd like to get this for yourself, head over to DeAgostini Collectibles and subscribe to this car today. It's a fantastic build and I'm having a blast building it. If you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. Happy modeling everybody, and take care.